Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are hopping back on Tier Maker for the first time in a little while on the channel, and we're going to be going through and ranking all of the AFL commentators in 2024. Now I feel like lately there's been a bit of conversation online about the decreasing quality in commentators for our sport, so I thought that I'd have a go and give my opinion on all of the commentators. And without further ado, I say let's just get straight into things. So here we are with the tier list. This one I made myself. As you can see here, I gave the tiers each their own little names. The S tier I've renamed to the closest thing we have to Dennis Cometti, since Dennis Cometti is the GOAT. I think we can all agree on that. And we've got pretty good, alright, tolerable, barely, and finally right down the bottom, the worst of the worst. We've got to mute the TV, which I think there are going to be a few commentators in that tier today. I haven't got every single commentator that has called a game in 2024 because there was just heaps. And I also am only going to be including the ones from Channel 7 and Fox Footy. There's plenty of others that don't commentate for either broadcaster and do a lot of games on radio, but again, there'd just be way too many people to include. So I feel like I've got all the main ones here today, all the ones that most people would at least somewhat recognise. So without further ado, let's just get straight into things. So first up, we've got Abby Holmes here. Abby Holmes, or Abby Holmes, I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation there. She's one of the Channel 7 boundary commentators. I feel like she does a pretty decent job. I feel like you don't need to be that exceptional with your insights on the game as a boundary commentator. They're mainly for insights as to what's going on the bench, and also interviewing players at the halftime, quarter time breaks, and also full time. I feel like she does a decent job at what she has to do. So we'll stick her in the middle tier for now. All right. Potentially could move her up. I feel like she does a decent job. The first actual caller, so the callers are the main ones calling the play-by-play. Adam Papalia, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Another one that I'm not quite sure on how to pronounce the last name. He mainly does the WA games. In fact, I think he pretty much only does the WA games for Fox Footy, so every game that's played at Optus Stadium, either Fremantle or West Coast. And honestly, I think that is a bit of a shame, because since he actually is a pretty good commentator, I would like to see him commentate some of the other games around the country more often. But I think that most WA residents would be happy to see him commentating their team's games quite regularly, because I think he does a pretty solid job at calling the play-by-play, and he also actually does make games more exciting. I think he has his voice really suits the role of a commentator, and I think that he's a pretty decent play-by-play caller, and he's going to go in the pretty good tier. Alistair Lynch up next. I'm not really sure I have much of an opinion about him. He's not really one of those commentators that really stands out for me, but also he doesn't really do much overly wrong, so I guess he's just going to be another one that goes in that alright tier. Alistair Nicholson. A couple of years ago, I used to really hate this guy commentating games. Now I actually don't mind him. I think he's probably one of the better Channel 7 commentators. I don't know if I'd say he's as good as Adam Papalia, or however you say that guy's name. I feel like for now we'll stick him at the top of alright. But yeah, I used to really hate his voice, and I think he used to have a lot of voice cracks in the commentary box. He started to grow on me. I think he's actually a decent commentator. He's not just one of those former AFL players that just got the job because he was a former player and has absolutely no idea what they're doing. He seems actually dedicated to the craft, and I think that with time he'll get better. And I think he's alright. Next up, Anthony Hudson. He's probably got to go in the top tier. I feel like Yeah, he's an awesome commentator. He's one of the best modern day commentators. He's been responsible for some of the most iconic moments in the commentary box. Think back to that Nick Davis goal back in 2005, the miracle on grass, Buddy Franklin kicking 13 goals. He's had some great calls, and I feel like he's probably not in his prime anymore, but he's still a very good commentator. He hypes up the games. He makes even the most dull games at least somewhat exciting. I think, yeah, he's probably one of the best modern day commentators that we've been blessed to listen to. Ben Dixon up next. He's probably another one that I don't really have that much of an opinion about. I feel like a lot of these boundary line commentators are probably going to go just in this middle tier, with the exception of a few, and I might bump up or down. But yeah, he's not really. I don't really have much of an opinion on him. Brad Johnson, I feel like, yeah, he's probably goes in this alright tier, maybe. No, we'll stick him in this tier for now. We're going to have a real logjam in that middle tier, I reckon. But yeah, he goes alright, I reckon. Brian Taylor, BT. You know, once upon a time, I'd probably have him up in one of these top two tiers. He was really good at making the games exciting. These days, though, he's terrible, honestly. He's completely lost it. He's going right in that bottom tier. Whenever it's not Collingwood or Richmond or one of the big Victorian teams playing, he just sounds like he's fallen asleep. Like, I remember last year, it was last year, Gather Round, Sydney versus Richmond. I was watching the game from Western Australia because I was on holiday at the time. Couldn't be at the game, unfortunately. But yeah, there was a goal that Braden Campbell kicked in the last quarter. He was 55 metres out, thereabouts, pretty much right up against the boundary line. It was a remarkable goal. It was an awesome goal, I remember, and like I had a look at the replay, and it was not an easy goal to kick at all. And BT just sounded completely flat, like his beloved Tigers had just lost the game, and he was just like, he was ready to go home and go to bed early and have a cry.
Now Roberts, or Campbell it was, and Campbell kicks a magnificent goal.
Yeah, and he's had multiple moments like that where he just doesn't hype the games up anymore like he used to. He used to have that really excitable voice. Now all he does is just try and convince people that the game's still on half-heartedly when the margin's 36 points in the last quarter, and just try and find a way to fit in his weird stories that no one cares about. Yeah, he's completely lost it. I think that Channel 7 have got to part ways with BT because he is not what he used to be, and I think most people agree that he's a pretty bad commentator these days. Cameron Mooney, he was brought up in a bit of a controversy over the week. He was in the GWS rooms when he was supposed to be interviewing Chris Scott. To be honest, I kind of forgot about him before that incident. I guess he'll just be another one that goes in this alright tier. Same with Chris Johnson here. I've noticed him. Again, these boundary line commentators, I don't know if I have too much to say about them. Dale Thomas, has he been commentating before this season? I've only just noticed him this year. I'm not really a big fan of him in the commentary box. Yeah, I'll probably put him just so we have a person in that second to bottom tier. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of his demeanour and his insights on game day. I feel like there's plenty of people that I'd rather be listening to in his position. Not the biggest fan. Dermot Brereton. A lot of people hate Dermy in the commentary box, and I don't blame him. He does have an annoying voice. I don't hate him as much as some. I'll probably he could easily move down to this bottom tier. I'll put him in the second bottom one for now. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say online that he is their most hated commentator, and again, I can sort of see why. He just has that annoying voice, and some of his insights aren't great. But I don't hate him as much as a lot of people do, though. Dwayne Russell, I really like his commentary. A few people have bagged him over the years for just almost like trying to get fake excited. I can sort of see where some people come from with that criticism, but at least he's not half asleep like BT is, and he does make games exciting. Like, he does make the big moments just that even more exciting. Play-by-play, it's probably same with Anthony Hudson. He's not like the perfect play-by-play commentator, but yeah, for the big moments, for the match-winning goals, for the high marks, for the amazing comebacks, he's the perfect commentator, I think, that you'd want commentating your games alongside maybe Anthony Hudson. Erin Phillips, I believe, yeah, she's been the new recruit for the Channel 7 commentary team. Boundary line commentator. Yeah, she's probably still learning her craft, but I'd probably stick her in this middle tier as well. We're going to need to go to 2 rows in that middle tier soon, because it's getting pretty close to the edge there. Gary Lyon, another one that probably just goes in that middle tier. Not much to say about him, really. Jared Healy, I feel like his insights are pretty good in the special comments. I might actually stick him up in the pretty good. I feel like he has a nice commentary voice as well. Pretty good insights most of the time. Yeah, I'll stick him in this tier just so we don't have a complete logjam in the middle there. Hamish McLaughlin, he hasn't commentated a lot this year. He commentated the first 2 rounds, and I'm pretty sure he's actually done for the season, because he's. I did do a bit of research on some of these guys before putting this tier list together. So I don't think he's commentating anymore in 2024, which honestly is a bit of a shame, because I think he's much better than BT and JB, as we're soon about to see. Yeah, I feel like he's a really good play-by-play commentator. Doesn't try too hard, which I mean that in a positive way, not a negative way. Yeah, I feel like he's a pretty decent commentator that you'd want doing the play-by-play. Calls the game as it is, and yeah, I think he does a pretty decent job at it. Jack Revolt, again, I don't know if I have much to say about him. Here we are, James Brayshaw, JB. I don't dislike him as much as BT, but yeah, he's a bit past it as well, I think. You can probably go in the second to bottom tier. Channel 7 really needs to fix up their primetime commentary team. Like, they've got pretty much all of their worst commentators doing the prime time. Dale Thomas, why is he in the prime time slots? I don't really understand. James Brayshaw, BT have obviously been in the job for a while, but they're past it. This next guy, James Bennett, I think is actually pretty decent. I'd like to see him get more Thursday night and Friday night gigs over James Brayshaw and Brian Taylor, because I think that he's just another one that just calls the game as it is, actually does a decent job at it. And yeah, he mainly does the Saturday night games and also some of the Sunday games sometimes. Yeah, I feel like he deserves a bit more justice by getting some of the actual decent games. Jason Dunstall, I feel like he's another one that can go up in this pretty good tier. Yeah, I feel like he usually delivers some pretty good insights as the special comments commentator. Job Watson, jeez, it's not that hard of a name to pronounce. Yeah, he's not great. I think he's another one of these Channel 7 commentators that just really isn't that great. Same with Joel Selwood. Man, his insights are really just, they're not great. I feel like he just has the most surface level comments on how the play is unfolding, and even on even as one of the panel members on Talking Footy, I feel like his analysis is just not great. I mean, obviously it's his first year in the job. I think it's his first year in the job. I don't remember him commentating at all last year. So he'll probably get better as time goes on, but right now he is not great, and I don't understand why he's just gone straight to commentating primetime games either. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Jonathan Brown, yeah, he's probably just another one that's alright. Has a bit of a raspy, and at some points it is a slightly annoying voice, but I feel like he's decent. Kelly Underwood, probably the commentator everyone loves to hate the most, and I can definitely understand why. She has made so many terrible errors and mistakes in the commentary box. It's really, like, some of them are just like, how do you even stuff up that bad? Calling GWS the Orange Team, the Gold Coast Lions, calling Hugh Greenwood Greenbird. Like, how do you even manage that? Who is she even confusing his name with? I don't understand. And there's been plenty of other weird and wacky moments where she's just like there's been a few times where she just hasn't been able to tell whether a goal's been kicked or not. Like, there was that Michael Frederick goal where it was an amazing goal, but the commentary completely ruined it. Has a bit of an annoying voice as well. She's pretty much everything that you hate in a commentator. I'd feel like that alongside BT, definitely one of the worst in the current commentary climate. Lee Montagna, I always thought this guy was a special commentator, but I've noticed him calling play-by-play now. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan. I feel like he could go in this alright tier, but I feel like there's just others that do his job better than him. I feel like he's... I don't know, he just doesn't... I don't think he really has that appropriate voice for a play-by-play commentator. Luke Darcy, I've seen a few people hate on this guy in the commentary box. I actually think he's pretty decent. I think that he probably goes at the end of pretty good there. He's just... I reckon he calls the play-by-play pretty well. Sometimes he can get a little bit stuffed up when he tries to pull out the stats, but that doesn't happen too often, and I feel like, yeah, he's a pretty decent commentator. Luke Hodge, I feel like he's one of the better special commentators, at least on the Channel 7 team. I feel like his analysis and his insights are better than, say, Joel Selwood and Job Watson and Dale Thomas. I feel like he's probably the pick of the bunch for the special comments Channel 7 team. Mark Howard, he's probably in this tier as well. Sometimes I feel like people can find him a little bit annoying sometimes, but at least he hypes up the game. I feel like he's a pretty decent commentator. I think we stick him in this second tier. I feel like these two are a bit of a cut above the rest. Mark Rasciuto mainly commentates the SA games. I feel like he's alright. I'm not actually sure what the general consensus about his commentating is. I feel like he'd be one of those commentators that some people love, some people hate. I don't really care for him that much. I feel like he at least sounds like he's actually I'll bump him up a tier. I feel like he sounds like he's passionate. He sounds like he knows his stuff, and he seems like he seems like he's naturally suited to that commentary position. Matt Hill, Matt Hill's going straight up to the. You know what I said about Anthony Hudson being and Dwayne Russell being in a tier above the rest. I reckon Matt Hill deserves to be alongside them. He's only started commentating AFL this year, but he is amazing. He is like that old school, perfect play-by-play. He used to be a racing commentator, where you have to be like pretty precise with your words, and I feel like he's really adjusted to commentating AFL well. I think he's one of the best commentators in it right now. At the moment, he pretty much only does the Sunday graveyard games. We need to get him on prime time. We need to get him doing those big matchups because he is an awesome commentator. I feel like you pair him up with Anthony Hudson or Dwayne Russell, they'll do all the exciting moments. Matt Hill will call play-by-play, and you've got the perfect commentary combo right there. The 1-2 punch. I feel like he is just, he's one of the best commentators in it right now. Matthew Pavlich, another one that pretty much does exclusively WA games. I feel like he's alright. I don't really have much of an opinion on Matthew Pavlich's commentary. Matthew Richardson, I know a lot of people hate on him. I don't mind him. I feel like, I'll just stick him in that tier as well. Same with Nathan Jones. Probably same with Nick Dal Santo and Sean Burgoyne, and probably also Will Schofield as well. That is a lot of commentators in that middle tier, but there's just a lot of boundary line and some special commentators that I just don't really care for that much. But that is the tier list done. Do we shuffle around a little bit? I feel like BT and Kelly Underwood are comfortably the two worst commentators in it right now. You could maybe even chuck JB down there. I feel like he gets. No, yeah, sure. I'll stick him at the bottom of Mute the TV because he's not great either. Channel 7 really needs to get their act together with their primetime commentary teams, but I think I'm pretty happy with that. Matt Hill, Anthony Hudson, and Dwayne Russell are in my opinion, three of the best commentators in it right now. And I feel like, this middle part, there's a lot of commentators I just don't care for a whole lot. You know what? I'll stick Alistair Nicholson up a tier as well. Is there any play-by-play commentators in that middle tier now? I'm not even sure there is actually. Oh well, you know what, who cares? Anyway, so that'll be the tier list over and done with. I hope you did enjoy this video. Let me know who some of your favourite commentators are, and also some of your least favourite commentators. I feel like there'll probably be some consistent themes with the least favourite commentators. There seems to be a select few that pretty much everyone hates, and probably fair enough. AFL commentary isn't quite what it used to be. There's still a few good ones around. Like I say, Anthony Hudson, Matt Hill, Dwayne Russell, but I really do miss the days of Dennis Cometti and Bruce McAvaney. They were two of the best in the business as I started watching the AFL. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Again, comment down below what you thought about this video, what you thought about the tier list, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.